everyone. So today we are here to touch upon a very important nerve, and that is how to solve an RC passage effectively. Comprehension actually decides everything in CLAT exam, and I think we are all well aware of how important is a reading comprehension's role in our selection. So today we are going to discuss the tips and strategies, and to make it very clear, I'm Sukanya, your English trainer for today's session, and I'm going to provide you with some tips and strategies which might be very beneficial for you if you are not already doing it. So let's see the very first one. We already know that RCs play a very crucial role in our reading section in English, right? And the easiest way to actually get over our fears is to read our way through it. So here are some baby steps for beginners, and it's basically on how to promote reading basically. So begin with what interests you. Okay, always remember, because you are in the process of becoming a reader, always begin with something that is interesting to you, because if you're going to pick something which is of least interest, you're definitely not going to be able to continue reading as an active reader. And that's why it's very important to choose and pick the first thing that you read very wisely. Then, when the content gets too easy, it means that it's time to change and move on to tougher or more difficult territories. Okay? Explore what you like and what you don't like, because the more you read, the more you come across different subject matters, and you do understand what interests you and what doesn't. So always know what you like and what you don't, but in the end, be always prepared to embrace all of it. Okay, be very accepting to different kinds of texts. Record new vocabulary, very, very important, because whenever you start reading, always remember, as an amateur reader, we come across several words which we do not know. So it's important that you have a separate notebook for that. You record that vocabulary. See how many times you might hear the same word again, possibly while solving your RC passages, possibly while reading an editorial. It could be anywhere, and that's why it's important to keep a tab of all the difficult words that you come across. Let's see the next one. Now, for those who are already avid readers, we already know that it's sink or swim time, right? So, the ideal way is to read extensively. What does that mean? That means you need to broaden your horizons. You need to be, again, very much accepting of each and every type of text that you come across. Okay, you might not be a person who might be interested in psychology or possibly philosophy, but why not take one article every day of the subjects which you are not really good at? Every day, if you practice, consistency is basically something which actually makes you better in the long run. So always remember, change is the only constant. Your newspaper should be your gospel, and I cannot lay stress on it enough how important it is to spend at least 1 hour with your dear newspaper, and also being a very active reader while you are at it. Okay, always remember that, keep a highlighter or a pen with you where you are marking important words, where you are trying to question yourself regarding tones, regarding the inferences, even the vocabulary. So always be a very active reader. Prepare yourself in a way that you are actually interacting with a very intellectual person, and that might help in the long run. Okay, moving on to the next one. Read, process, and understand. First of all, restrict yourself to the information given. Whatever is given, they do not want to judge you on the kind of knowledge that you possess. They are basically judging you on your ability to comprehend. So always remember, read, process what exactly is given, and understand the passage. Stated or implied. Some things are directly given, some things are indirectly implied. So you need to understand what is an inference and what is a direct question. Also, contextual reference and clarity actually gives you an edge over everybody else. So if you are very thorough with your context, if you have a clarity about what exactly are you reading, there's nobody who can stop you to mark the correct answer. Also, never let your existing knowledge come in the way of you and your passage. Okay? No matter how much knowledge you possess about a certain topic, the topic could be of your interest. You might have read extensively about it, but Solving, while solving an RC passage, that's not the right time to actually, make that knowledge count. Maybe you'll get several occasions later on in your life where you can actually make that work, but this is not the time to let that existing knowledge interfere with your solving, right? So always remember, never let your existing knowledge come in the way of you and your passage. Now, what you sow, so shall you reap. It is a very famous saying, and I think everybody knows what that means, right? Whatever you sow today, you are going to reap the benefits of it later on. If you are going to sow exhaustion, if you are going to sow carelessness, obviously, what are the results going to be like? So that's why be very mindful about spending your time wisely. Here, there was and there never will be a substitute for consistency. There's some things which cannot change no matter how developed we become. Consistency, there is no substitute or shortcut for that. So don't try to have a shortcut or a short trick to, get over the hard work. There, some things require your hard work, and this is one of those exams, right? Then the second point says practice as many mocks as you can because you still have time. Why not see as many things, as many, reading texts as we can? Because obviously that's going to expose you to different perspectives. So it's very, very important to practice as much as you can while you still have time. Then the next important step is, I think everybody knows, and I think some of you might be in the habit of doing it too, and that is analyzing. Once you are done with your mock, that's not the time to take rest or chill. Actually, it's time for you to analyze your mock. And always remember, if you analyze your mock correctly, it's going to actually be very beneficial to you in the later part of the exam. Okay, so always remember where you have made the mistakes. Always try to rectify it. Always try to see what type of approach, the examination, the person who has set the examination has set for you. Okay. Also, it's very, very important to know when to move on. In life and in exam, you should know when to move on. If you think that a particular passage is taking all your time and you're still not understanding anything, it's time to move on. Possibly, if you get time in the end, you can definitely come back on it and give it another shot. But while you are at it and you think that it is too, like, it is time consuming, it's exhausting you, it's giving you anxiety, please move on. Okay. And the next one, identify the question types, whether it is a direct question, whether it is an inference based question. What is an inference based question? A question which will be asking you on your ability to, understand what have you drawn from the passage. So this is something which will not be directly given. This is something which will be indirectly implied in the passage. Vocabulary related questions. I think we all know what type of questions are asked: synonyms, antonyms, right? So they might highlight a word and they might want you to figure out which is the synonym of a particular word. Again, working on vocabulary simultaneously is very, very important. And conclusion. Always remember, conclusion based questions, most of the things depend on the last paragraph there, because after the last paragraph, they are basically asking you to predict what could be the next event. Okay, so be very careful while choosing the correct answer in conclusion related passages, paragraphs. Then take a glimpse at the questions first thing. That's what we keep on telling our kids, that you need to see the questions first and then you need to move to the passage. It's very simple. It gives you some fodder, to think basically what are you looking for in the passage, a target, right? And you do need a target while solving an RC passage. Otherwise, it will, make you spend a lot of time on one particular RC passage. And we do not want that. We want to save our time, right? So always take a glimpse at the question. If you find any, keywords, highlight them then and there. If you find those keywords in the passage, highlight them then and there, because that would actually make the whole journey very smooth. You won't have to read the entire thing. You'll easily find that particular word and find the answer. So remember to do that. Okay. Some pointers while solving an RC. Okay, there are certain instances where we are so anxiety ridden that our, confidence is all shaken up, and sometimes we become so jittery that even though we know the answers, we do not mark the correct one. And that's very, very important to know that assessing yourself too soon. You have just started, attempting the questions, and you do realize that, oh, it's not my forte, and I'm not able to do a particular passage. But that should not actually dishearten you. And because if you start assessing yourself very soon, obviously you're going to lose all your confidence. And then how are you going to solve the rest of the passage? And it's very, very important, as I have already told you, to know when to move on. So this is the time for you to move on to the next one. Okay, you'll get plenty of opportunities to redeem. So do not assess yourself too soon. Do not be too harsh on yourself. Okay, you are there to give your best. If it is not one passage, it will be the second one that would be to your liking. Okay, then the first one, clubbing all reading sections one after another, could be a little tricky. Why? Because obviously, reading and comprehension takes a lot of your energy. So it's very important to actually, bifurcate the portions in the correct way, in a proper systematic order. So while you are solving mocks, you can set your own sequence of solving a particular section. If you are clubbing all the reading sections together, it's going to exhaust you. So be very careful about that as well. Then, not experimenting with mocks. By experimentation here, I mean, again, choosing your own sequence. Sometimes you can start with critical reasoning, sometimes you can start with English, sometimes you can start with GK. See what works for you, see what doesn't, and then, come to a conclusion. So it's very, very important. And for that, obviously, you need to give more and more mocks. One or two mocks are not going to decide anything. Okay? So always remember, have an alternate strategy. If this does not work, this will work. And obviously, it's going to work because you have been consistently practicing. So that's a wrap from me. I hope you had a productive session. I hope this session helped you in, making your RCs more effective, possibly. So do let me know in the comment section if you think it was good for you. I'll see you soon. Thank you so much. Signing off. Bye bye.